Well, and of course, just an update before we get into the interview. We have another EPL match ongoing at the moment. It's at halftime at the moment, and Arsenal is leading Chelsea 2-0. Yes, Arsenal is leading Chelsea 2-0. I'm as surprised as you all are. Anyway, we're going to be updating you on that match. But for now, let's get into our Saturday Sports interview, where today we are talking matters athletics, and we've been joined by Team Kenya coach, that is Stephen Mwaniki. Thank you very much for giving us the time here at Channel 1. And maybe we can start by asking, what should we expect in this year's athletics calendar? The major event, according to you.
The major event, our calendar is on. We started our calendar last year with the cross country. Yeah. And this year we have major championships. We have the World Championships in Qatar, that is in August. We also have the World Cross Country in Denmark that will come in the month of March. Yeah. And also we have the All African Games in Morocco. So these are quite exciting event for the calendar of event in athletics. Yeah. And
maybe last year in Asaba, the Africa Senior Athletics Championship, of course, you being the coach, you brought home the title, if I may say so. Kenya led, of course, with 19 medals. So maybe the lessons that you guys learned from Asaba that you're willing to, let's say, implement in the coming events this year. What can you say was the takeaway from Nigeria?
Nigeria was another scene that we've never encountered in athletics, because one, we encountered some difficulties, but as we are known all over the world, we always surpass expectation, and I might say that we were lucky to win the African Senior Athletics Championship in Asaba. What I would like to tell our people is that Kenya is more composed. Yeah. We are more organized than other countries. And we went there expecting that everything would be the same. Coming from the World Under 18 here in Nairobi, and then going to Asaba, finding that it was just chaotic, but we thank God that we were able to come out winners of the African Senior Athletics Championship in Asaba. Okay,
and of course it's not your first time, at the rodeo. You of course won that title again. That was back in 2010.
Yeah, 2010 I was also in charge of the team in Nairobi, and we won the Senior Athletics Championship here in Nairobi. Yeah.
What happened between that period you took from coaching the national team?
Yeah, I've been coaching the national team. I've been given assignment. I've been in World Relays in Bahamas. I've gone there twice, and it's been quite an experience for me. I've also been handling the Kenya prison team, especially the sprinters, the sprints and hurdles, and we've been doing quite well. Yeah. And we expect this year to have good results, especially in relays, knowing that this year is for the World Relays in Yokohama in the month of May. So we are still preparing for all that. But what we are preparing now is a cross-country which is coming this weekend on 2016 at Prison Staff Training College, Ruiru. Yeah.
So maybe you can update us on, let's say, the notable names who will be competing in that event.
Yeah, we'll have the World Cross-Country silver medalist, Alice Aprot. She won a silver medal in Kampala, Uganda. She will be out there to defend her title. Last year she won the event at Uhuru Gardens. This time round, I know the public, if you look at the calendar, we were supposed to be at Uhuru Gardens, but we have changed due to logistical. We decided to go to Ruiru, the Prison Staff Training College. So Alice Aprot will be defending her title, where she won last year. We'll also have Cornelius Kangogo, the winner of last year, will also be defending his title. We'll also have Timothy Cheriot running the relays. We have the 4x2 kilometer relays. Yeah. Timothy Cheriot is currently the Diamond League winner, and will also be participating in that event. These are the big names that we expect to run in our championship that will be on 26.
Okay, and of course, I wanted to ask you, how does one get to apply for this, and is the entry period over for the regional inter?
Yeah, we started off with our regions, whereby the region started from the station level. You know, we are spread all over the country, and we have the normal 8 regions that we normally have in the country, and then we have the prison staff training college as a region, and also the prison headquarters as a region. So what normally happens is that the events start at the station level, whereby the teams are selected at station level, then they go to the zonal, and then finally they'll select a region team. And all the regions have selected their teams, all the names have been sent at the headquarters, and we expect now to prepare next week for the main event, which will be on Saturday. And hopefully our teams are expected to be here on 24th. They'll come on 24th. They will stay at the Prison Staff Training College, and the championship will start on 26th at Ruiru.
At Ruiru.
Yeah.
Now, let's go back to the issue of, you mentioned about this, you're concentrating more on, let's say, the sprinters as a coach, back to the national team and, of course, prisons. What can you say about that? Like, where are we getting to in terms of our prowess when it comes to these short distances?
Short distances, we've been doing well, but we are still doing the catch-up, because we have a very big gap. The world and Kenya, we are still climbing the ladder. But hopefully we'll be up there because the young people are coming on board. We've seen Emmanuel Koril, who last year was here, and he did wonderful. He was able to post the fastest time on Kenyan soil, which was 44 here in Nairobi. And we expect some very young athletes to come on board. For example, the prison recruited young athletes, and we expect them now to mature by this year, and still focusing on the next year's Olympics, which is coming in 2020 Tokyo. So we are all gearing towards that, but this year we are preparing the athletes to be able to run the relays in Yokohama, whereby we have the world relays. And these are just build-ups towards a major championship like the World Championship in Qatar. And we also expect that our athletes also will be ready for the All-African Games in Morocco. Yeah.
And maybe we saw Emmanuel Korir, as you mentioned. He was actually in the Kenyan team that won gold in Asaba, Nigeria. That was last year.
Yeah.
So maybe, are we seeing more athletes, getting interested in sprinting rather than the traditional races, which, well, by now Kenya dominates, obviously?
Yeah, we've been doing very well. And if you can remember when, for the first time in the history of the World Championship, when we won the World Championship, we had our top sprinters doing well. And we won the World Championship simply because we had athletes winning the hurdles, and also we had athletes in field events.
Okay.
And the mathematics in winning a championship is very simple. You only need to have, because the middle and long distance, that is our event. So we need to work more in sprints and also field events.
Yeah.
So the sprinters also coming up. And we expect that in near future, we'll also be dominating in this event.
Okay. So for you, you juggle between, let's say, the middle and long distances, and you also coach the sprinters. How does that work? And what are the differences, really, when it comes to the different events?
The approach of training is different. For the sprinters, you work more on power, on strength. And for the middle distance is more on endurance. And as a coach, a trained coach, you can be able to handle both. But in my case, I'm specifically in the prisons. I handle the sprinters and the sprints and hurdles. And we have other coaches who are handling the middle and long distance. Yeah.
So, of course, the level of competition, what can you say about the emerging athletes at the moment? Because actually in athletics, besides the main events, the major events that we're used to, maybe the 1,500 meters, the 3,000 meters, whereby we have let's say, an athlete at least having this certain period of a reign, if I may use the word. So maybe the level of competition among the youngsters coming up at the moment, what can you say about that? Yeah,
it's coming, because if you look at the last event we hosted here in Kenya, the World Under 18, we saw young athletes coming up. We have talent, plenty of it in Kenya. And we also scooped medals in sprints, if you can remember. And we are happy because now We bidded for the World Under 20, and Kenya is hosting in 2020. So we expect this kind of, this stage, this forum, inspires our athletes, the young upcoming athletes. They come on board, and within no time you'll see them shining. So what we require to do is that to put more effort, especially in our sprints. We need to invest more in sprints, because you have to invest in terms of building modern gym. We need to invest in exposing these athletes. We need to train them more, because the approach of training is scientific. It's not the usual thing that you tell somebody to go and run 20 kilometers and back, like the middle and long. This one you have to work, you have to calculate in whatever you are doing. Yeah. So it is specific, especially the sprints is something different. But with the middle and long, we are used to it, because since Amos Biwott won in 1968, we've been in this business for quite some time, and already this is our domain. Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, before I forget this, what can you say about, of course, the greatest marathoner? That is Eliud Kipchoge. Recently got nominated for the 2018 Laureus Sports Award. So maybe anything that you can add on that?
Yeah, Eliud Kipchoge is an example. He's an icon in this country. True. Because this guy has really invested in running middle and long distance. He started in 1500. He came to 5,000. He's been a world champion in 5,000. He went to 10,000. Gradually, and then he went into marathon. And out of 10 marathon, he has won 9 of them.
Impressive.
And the bottom line is that this guy is disciplined. And this is the most important aspect in training. If you are disciplined, then you'll be able to achieve your results. Okay. And we will urge the young upcoming athletes, those who want to come into athletics, and those who are still in athletics, discipline is very important. Avoid these other things that induce your running. Yeah. Because some people want to invest in some other things, funny things that mess their life.
Yeah, you actually read my mind, because I was coming on to that issue next when you mentioned about, Eliud Kipchoge being one of the most disciplined athletes, hence the success that they gain, because it's not only about being able to run, but also the discipline. But what's the problem nowadays? Because most of these young athletes, whenever we have these cases, the shameful cases of doping and whatnot, what's going wrong in terms of discipline?
Yeah, you see, the country has been fighting corruption, and this is a kind of corruption. People are looking for shortcuts. They want to excel where they have not worked for, and this has also come into athletics. But slowly and gradually, our people, they've been educated through Athletics Kenya, through ADAC. We've been having seminars, we've been having all these things, and slowly we are getting there. I hope in another 2 or 3 years, our athletes will go back to where we were, believing in working hard, doing the right thing, and we'll be still dominating the world. Yeah, there's no need of going into taking these drugs, and Kenyans are used into training or working hard. Okay. Yeah, so this business of shortcut has really messed some of our young athletes. Okay. Yeah.
And I have to ask this: the seminars and the workshops that Athletics Kenya and other bodies undertake when it comes to athletes, are they mandatory?
Especially, it's mandatory according to IAAF. You need to go and attend these seminars. You need to be taught what it is that you're supposed to avoid, and this has been going on. Even when we have major championships, there's where athletes are taught. They're given time, shown through the ADAC. Yeah. They're being taught what is doping and all this. So the awareness is coming up. It's very high, and we thank the government because of having this ADAC, which this organization has really helped our athletes and even the coaches. Yeah. And the awareness, the public awareness is growing. And we expect that very soon this thing will be gone, and we'll go back to where we belong, working hard, working smart, discipline, and we achieve the results.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now let's talk just briefly send a call out to, of course, the athletics fans who would be willing to actually come out and support the athletes when it comes to the cross country?
Yeah, the prison cross country, we've been having this cross country for quite some time. And if I can just go back and say and jog our mind, is that prison is an institution, is a government institution, and we have produced the first woman athlete to win the World Cross Country in 1994 through Helen Chemngeno. We've also have the recent Alice Aprot in Kampala winning silver medal. Our event was scheduled to be at Uhuru Gardens, but we have relocated back to our ground at the Prison Staff Training College. Everything is okay. This week we had our Senior Vice President of Athletics Kenya. He came and did some wrecking on the track, the course that we'll be using, and we were given a go-ahead. So the circuit is ready, everything is in place, and we expect our athletes to arrive here on 24th. Okay. So we are urging the public to come at the Prison Staff Training College. The security is okay. We will welcome all our guests with open arms so that they come and witness the greatest athletes the greatest athlete in the prison department. Yeah. So everybody is welcome. We will start with the curtain raisers for the young kids at the kids at the Prison Staff Training College, the kids of the officers. They will have their 2 kilometers, and then the main event will start exactly at 9. That is when we're going to kick off with the 10-kilometer senior women, followed by the 10-kilometer senior men, and finally we'll have the 4x2 kilometer relays. And after that, our team will be named, and then they go into residential training. But currently, we have our top athletes who are currently at the Prison Staff Training College. They are doing their residential, and this is the second month. And this is the first time that the Athletics Kenya prisons have decided to put our athletes in camp for 2 months, preparing for the national cross country. Mm-hmm. And this is in preparation for the national cross country, and hopefully to have more of our athletes getting into the national team. Okay. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mwaniki, for joining us here tonight. And we're looking forward to the cross country, as well as, of course, the most important thing, the 2020 Olympics. We're looking forward to seeing Team Kenya perform brilliantly, even better than it did in Asaba, Nigeria. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And for the viewer, don't go too far. We'll be back on the other side of the studio.